Yes. So, as we discussed in the preview, that we'll be talking about quite some topics over here in this course. The first topic that we need to study is about economic systems and how economic systems work. Right? After this, we have demand, supply, and all that. We'll come into that later. But currently, we have economic systems. So, let's zip into it, shall we? So, economic systems, there are mainly three kinds of economic systems. What are these three kinds of economic systems? Number one, we have market economy, or also known as free market economy, also known as capitalist economy. So all of these are names of a market economic system. A market economic system is without any interference of the government. All the resources are owned and controlled by the private sector directly. There's very minimal interference or no interference by the government itself. The price and the market is set according to the market forces. Now, what do you mean by the market forces? We will come into that later, obviously, but market forces mainly means that the prices and the allocation of resources is basically controlled by the forces of demand and supply. We'll come into the definitions of demand and supply, how do they work and all of that. For now, we just have to know that what market economy is. So in market economy, you can, or how would we come into it, right? So what is market economy? Market economy, this economic system relies on the market forces of demand and supply, minimal to no government intervention. The best example in today's life, in today's normalcy, so I'll just tell you one key point over here. There is no economy in the world which is truly market economy. All the economies in the world have some have some kind of government interference or intervention. But if we have to give an example for a capital or truly capitalist economy, we can talk about the US. US US depends mainly on its private sector for its GDP. Has government intervention as well, but can be called an ideal model for today's world as a market economy, right? So, also known as capitalist economy, as we discussed earlier. What are the features of market economy? So, market economic features, the features of market economy is number one, resources are owned and controlled by the private sector. All of the resources that are supposed to be given or are allocated to someone. So for example, if you're working hard, you will get better resources, or you will be able to afford a better car or better house for yourself. So resources are allocated, owned and controlled by the private sector. Number 2 point, as we said, the prices are allocated on the basis of demand and supply, the market forces. Resources are allocated on the basis of price. So if you are able to pay the price of something, you will be able to afford that. No free lunches. That is the capitalist economy, right? If you work hard for something, you're going to get paid for it. Very simple. Number 3rd point that we have is financial incentives allocate scarce resources. So if you have some scarce resources, I'll give you an example. So if you have, like, let's say diamond. Diamond is scarce, or let's say gold is scarce. If you have the price, if you have the money to pay for that, that is when you will be able to afford those commodities. So scarce resources, if there are any, if you pay a price for it, you'll be given that, or you will be allocated those resources. That's number 3. Number 4, competition creates choices and opportunities. So in market economy, in private sector controlled business, what happens is there is a lot of competition going on, right? Everyone is in a race to do better, to satisfy their customers better. When they do that, obviously they're going to get paid for it. If you have a better product than your competitors, obviously the customers will buy your product. If they buy your product, you will have more profits, you will gain more revenues. So competition is very tough in market economy. Everyone is looking to buy a better product and all the companies, all the firms are trying to, for the private sector, they're trying to make better product. They're trying to use technology as much as possible. They're spending more and more on the R&D. So because of all of this, you have a better choice of what product you should buy, number one. And number two, for the firms, there is a better opportunity. If your product is good, if your technology is good, then you have better opportunity to make good revenue. So that is for the features of market economy. Next, we come on to the advantages of market system or market economy. What are the advantages? So like all the economic systems, we have advantages, disadvantages. For market economy, we have efficiency. As we said that there is a lot of competition. When there is competition, people will try to make better products in as less of a time as possible, because obviously the product is supposed to be in the market. If your competition succeeds in bringing in a new product, then you'll be just wavered off. You'll be gone, right? So efficiency is a lot. A lot of people have, all the firms have a lot of competition, because of which they need to constantly do their technological updates and do constant R&D. R&D, by the way, I've said it before as well. R&D is research and development. So they have to research for new technological points. They have to research for new products or new manufacturing techniques. So they have to come up with them. Number two is freedom. Freedom is very important in private sector. What do you mean by freedom? Is that you have the freedom to bring whatever you want and to bring whatever you want and to sell whatever you want without any government intervention. No government entity will, or very minimal government intervention. So government will not tell you what to sell, what not to sell. This can be a disadvantage as well. It will come in that, I think, as well. But sometimes what happens is there is a demerit good. By demerit good, I mean a good that is not good for a product which is not good for the society. So that can also be bought. If somebody has the money to pay for it, why not? People are going to buy it. So that can be a disadvantage as well. But overall, generally, you can buy any product that you want if you have the given price, if you pay the given price. So there is freedom. Number three is incentive. So incentive is you have the incentive or the motivation to bring in new product. You are motivated to do more of R&D, more of bringing new technology. When you do all of that, you have that motivation. Why? Because you know that if you bring in a new product, what will happen is people will buy your new product on a higher price. You can gain more revenue. You can gain more profits out of it. You can have a bigger market share. We will come on to market share, don't worry. But so that is why you have more incentives to bring in new product with new technologies, right? Let's come on to the disadvantages now. So disadvantages of market economy, as we said, is number one is environmental issues. So in the race, in the competition, that everyone has to bring in new product, new R&D, they have to do all of that. There is a problem with environmental issues. So for example, you have a factory, you're trying to bring in new product. What will happen is you will try to use more of your machinery. When you use more of your machinery, there will be more of pollution, probably, more of toxic waste coming out of your factory. So there will be environmental issues as well. And not just this, there can be environmental issues that a lot of companies, they use more of plastic. So it is said that 95% of the plastic in the world that was ever manufactured still exists today. It is very, very difficult to get rid of plastic mainly. So if they have plastic waste, if they have a lot of that, that is a disadvantage. Number two, income and wealth inequalities. So let's say somebody cannot perform very well, or somebody does not acquire the skills to perform well, or the academic knowledge, or and all of that. If somebody does not have if he does not have the capacity to do all of that, then what will happen is there will be inequality. People will not be able to afford goods, and whoever has better knowledge of the product, who has better academics, he will be able to buy more goods. That is why we say mainly in the capitalist economy that the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer, right? So that is also a major part of it. Then number 3, that we have social hardships. So as we discussed, people who would not have the capacity to do well in such kind of an economy, they will find social hardships. No, as I said, there are no free lunches. You will not be able to afford goods or services if you cannot work for it. So then what will happen is then there is a major possibility that poor gets poorer, and again this happens, this process continues, and a major chunk of your economy goes into a recession. So that can also be possible. Number 4 is wasteful competition. So all of these basically are your disadvantage for a market economic system. We have disadvantages, we have advantages. Let's discuss other economic systems as well.